Ooh. Monday. Yeah. Let me get this thing started. I say happy Monday. Every day is a brand new day. That's the way I look at it. Every day is a brand new day to actually start over again. Second chances. I certainly have plenty of it. Plenty of that second chance. I really do have that second chance. So on my way to my journey this morning, my destination. Get this great thing in. And what else can I say except for happy Monday? Some schools actually started today. So it is Monday today. Another beautiful day for what I call self-reflection. I'm always learning something new. I'm always starting a new adventure on this thing called life, because it's all about that discipline. Because every day is always a brand new day. Every day I erase my mistakes. I always do something. Yep, I always do it. I'm good at it too. So yeah, I'm always doing something that, I should have done that. Alright, let's start over again. So yeah, that is it. I'm actually in a different section of town this morning. So yes, what am I trying to do? Oh yes, I'm on a different town of the town. So yes, it's all about that rectification, I call it. I'm always doing something. Every day is a brand new day. That's the way I look at it. Every day is a brand new day. Yes, every day is a brand new day, and I make sure it is too, because what happened yesterday is already gone. So today is just a brand new day. I think daylight is coming out. Daylight is coming out, and I'm just getting that groove on. A lot of things is happening. Always as usual. I just feel like hearing those noises of a cat this morning. So I am just on this part of town and just let me see this. Just kind of just enjoying the moment. Yeah, like I said, every day is a brand new day to me, because I'm always doing something that I shouldn't be doing. Then I'll start over again. And I think that's the unique part about, knowing your mistakes, knowing something that you want to, a habit, especially in habits that doesn't feed us anymore. There's a certain habit that we do. He does his math. Excuse me. He feeds us. But after a little while, you realize that, this habit isn't feeding me anymore, and all you gotta do is just write to yourself and say you don't want to do it no more, because it's very easy to actually say you don't want to do something and tell somebody that, yeah, this is what's wrong with me, I don't want to do this anymore. But until you actually write it down and you mean it by yourself, it is not of use telling anyone, because at the end of the day, you're going to do the same thing over again. And that thing can be from relationship, from just saying things, anything. And we a lot of times we don't realize it. So every time you don't want to do something, yeah, you speak to somebody, yeah, that's okay. You know, you gotta say what's on your mind. Don't harbor emotions. Look at that beautiful place. But the real healing actually begins when one is able to write it down for oneself and truly mean it. So I call it critical writing. I do that a lot every morning. And I always know the habits that I don't want to get rid of, because every time it comes to that time for me to write it down, for some reason I'll either forget about it or I will just ignore it. And I begin to realize that is just a pattern, because I was comfortable in that environment. So I tend to not want to get rid of it, because just still having that thought in my mind, it creates that sacrifice, that pleasure that I get out of it. But the truth is, once I'm able to actually just say to myself, you know, I'm going to write this biscuit down, it holds me accountable. Because a lot of time when we're telling people what we want to stop, or what's actually bothering us, we are only saying it. Oh, look at those beautiful horses. Good morning, horse. I like this. You know, we're only saying it out of a pity. So anything that you want to get rid of, whether it's an addiction that we like to call it, because I begin to not think anything is an addiction anymore. Look at that beautiful sky. I just think it's all energy. And all that energy, we can actually get rid of what energy that we don't want to partake in anymore, and just reprogram our mind. Because I'm a great fan of that, because that's where it all started from, reprogramming that mind. And any habit that we've been doing for years, if you are still doing the same thing at a certain age, most of the time it's because there's a psychological disturbancy behind it, and we never want to get rid of it. I try to live a disciplined life, trying to make sure my mind is always at a good space, no matter what's going on around me. I truly focus on that, mind, body, and soul, because what it has allowed me to do is my outside situation doesn't get hold of me. Look at that sky right there. Look at that sky. So that's just the way I just lived it. Morning. Have a good day. So yes. So I've always kept that, you know, that mind, body, and soul. What it has done for me is my outside environment, I don't really pay attention. I pay attention to it, but the emotions doesn't overwhelm me. So once I get that mind, body, and soul, and be attentive on what I put in my body, it allows me to just control the things that is outside of me. That's my ego. My ego doesn't agree upon. I always say this to people that everybody wants to be financially stable, have a nice job. But there's something about those things that we cannot deny, especially in our beautiful, beautiful culture. I think there's just something to it. We could be spiritually enlightened, but we are always going to need that resources called finances. It is the way it's been designed, but at the same time, that finances has its place, and there's also a place for that cultivating the abundance that is within. So it's all about balance. So the way I look at life is, at least I know if I cannot control my finance right now, I should be able to control my mind, my body, and how I think. I truly, truly just believe in that, because a lot of times we fall apart. Once we cannot control one, we think, well, we have to let the other one go. No, that's just, it's just impossible. And that's why a lot of many always look at me weird, but I just literally say to myself, okay, if I cannot control one thing, at least the one that I can see, my whole physical body, my thinking, my emotion, that I can be the driver of, that I can truly, truly control, that I can really put in control. And controlling those things are extremely hard, because you have to be really at it. There are just times you just want to have that pity party. And I do have that pity party too, but I just turn it into a meditation. And I just sit with the emotions and I deal with it. And usually it always turns out to be laughter, because I realize, man, every time I look at my situation, I turn around, there's a situation more graphic than mine, and it allows me to have compassion for the other situation that I didn't know about. So, and that's just that mindfulness thing going. But one thing I did control, how I think, how my emotions drive me. And yeah, I really just make sure that's in control, because the only power, oh, that's a beautiful, nice house over there. The only power that I have is how I think. And once you could control how you think, the rest is easy. I really make sure all my veins, my psychic energy, everything that allows me to see individual from inside, I truly focus on it. So when I'm around people, I might be quiet, but I do read your energy and see where you're coming from. So those are the things that I try to put in practice. Between reading and listening to other people, I watch a lot of things, very positive things every day. Yeah, and I also watch things that has to do with emotion that people just don't know how to deal with. And a lot of times, as much as I want to help, dealing with emotions requires reality. And sometimes that reality, a lot of upbringing did not teach it. There's a certain way that many of us have been programmed, so to deal with reality can be very difficult. I, on the other hand, I deal with reality, and I deal with the shame that comes into that reality, which a lot of time can be painful, but dealing with it allows you to see things from a different perspective. So I do what I can control, and anything that I cannot control, I let it be. I stopped forcing myself with gravity of life. And that is because of the amount of time I spend meditating and pulling my body to where it needs to be. And those things can be extremely painful, sitting still. Because every time you pull against gravity and gravity is pulling you to where you need to be, it can be extremely painful. And a lot of it is because of years of emotions that we've carried. So it turns into something else in our body. And that's why meditation is so hard sometimes. That's why meditation is not all about getting into the zone. It's about being able to sit with that gravity. Just feel the pull, the gravity of life. Since I started living with the gravity of life, I have learned how to just let life be. Ooh-wee. I like stopping. I just love it. I love it when I see a car isn't an excuse for me to take a break. So that's what I'm thinking of this morning. Reality also means the ability to deal with spirituality. And I think it's one of the reasons why I love the whole ideology of studying different Eastern philosophies and theologies from different backgrounds. And that way I can deal with my own reality. And when I'm able to deal with that reality, my emotions doesn't overwhelm me. The discipline behind it, before I go, is my day starts around 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning. Very, very important, those time of the hours, to start your day by sitting still, stretching your body. Very, very important. And because I do that every day, and until people begin to do the same thing, it'll be hard to understand where I'm coming from. Because a lot of people just don't put that into their practice of getting up at 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, sit still, write to yourself, meditate. When you don't do that, it's just impossible for you to understand where I'm coming from, because I'm really gonna look like somebody that's just lazy, that doesn't want to do anything to you. So I get that. So those things about getting up early is written there in every philosophy, spiritual, motivational book. Every super millionaires, everybody have one thing in common. They get up in the wee hours of the morning. And when we know that and we don't practice it, and people wanna sit and advise me, I just sit there and start laughing. But we have to implement that into our being, that getting up early in the morning, that saying that prayer, that meditation is actually so important. That getting up every morning isn't just for ourselves, it's to heal the whole universe. Like I, for one, I'm really tired of all this. Sometimes I don't even want to listen to all this history anymore, what the human beings have done in the past. I think we sit so much in the past that when you really try to study that whole consciousness thing, it's just not good vibration anymore. I am not saying don't know your history, because your history made you. But I'm saying let's come together and sit in the present moment. The way our whole universe is going is absolutely, it's just, we don't spend many days on this planet to worry about some of the biscuit things that we worry about. Like, it's really that time that we all have to sit down and sit still and think about the now and think about the future of our kids and our grandkids. Because lately, I don't really think we think about that. We've gotten so much away with that, especially here in the United States. That whole black and white thing has to stop. The whole black and white thing needs to stop. Collective consciousness. comes a time when you're just so tired of it. And I wouldn't say it's a black and white thing. I would say it's a religion thing that most people do not even want to accept. Religious people have just caused so much conflicts. And every day we don't like to hear it, so we blame it on black and white. Like it's too much. We gotta come to unity. I see so many things about, the Africans or the Israelites. I'm really just tired of that. We are Yoruba people. All I know is my ancestors speak Yoruba. And they have their own Yoruba kingdom. So all this new history that they're trying to create, I'm just really, that's not even consciousness anymore. It's just, like I said, it's good to know your history, but there comes a time we all have to come together for collective consciousness. Because you know what? The planet doesn't give a biscuit. All the planet knows is that evolution is growing and we are expanding as human beings. New things are coming into place. And anyone that's collective, that's studying the collective consciousness, that studies science, all these things, we all know that ignorance is what get us to this place. Now that same ignorance, we gotta take it out of our system. All this cowboyness is just stopped. Like I'm just saying it, you know. And I can say for one, because that whole black and white thing, I just look at it as just a way of an excuse, because I kid you not, the last couple of years, I've had financial, I'll call it a fugu challenge. And it doesn't even matter who the biscuit that person is, they judging, period. So when you've been on that side of 1 minute you have your financial situation situated, then 1 minute you didn't have it, you realize it isn't about race, it's about that finance, because there's just something about not having that finances. Since we all live in a materialistic world, people just judge you. They don't have to be black and white. So I get that now. Good morning. Have a great day. So, that being said, let me continue this meditative jog. So all this, I mean, you could fool the ones that has never read, but when you've read so many books, so many, I've just been through them all. Like I just say, this thing is just a waste of time. If you truly know your history, you will not want history to repeat itself. That's all I'm gonna say. If you truly know your history, no matter what race you are, you will not want history to repeat itself. But when you don't know your history, yeah, you started with all this cowboys. So yes, happy Monday. This is the running. This is how I do my freedom of speech. It is time for collective consciousness. If you know your history truly, and you're an educator like you said you are, you will not want history to repeat itself. One love.